Hi, I'm Dustin, and this is a Team Backcountry gear review. Our point of these videos is to single out gear that we would use specifically for hunting the backcountry, whether it's your bow or your tent or arrows or boots, so on and so forth. Today we have the Elite Energy series. We've had a chance to shoot the Energy 35 and also the Energy 32 for a few months now, and since we've got a few hundred arrows through them, we feel confident in giving a solid review on these bows. Both Elite Energy bow models, the 35 and the 32, have a 7-inch brace height, making this a great compromise for speed yet forgiveness in a bow. As the names state, the biggest difference in the bows is the axle to axle. The Energy 35 actually comes in at 34 3/4 advertised axle to axle, and the 32 model has a 31 3/4. So pretty good range of axle to axle for any type of shooter. If you're like me and you have a longer draw, maybe you appreciate the longer axle to axle, especially if you like to reach out and shoot those longer 60, 70, 80 yard shots. Or the other guys who maybe want a more compact bow, easier to carry, they can pick up the 32 and have a bow more maneuverable, a little lighter, and maybe fit a guy with a smaller draw length too. Shootability is a big buzzword floating around with these Elite Energy bows. To me, the biggest reason for that is these adjustable draw stop settings. So what this allows me to do is change the percentage of let off that I have with this bow. The way I've got it set right here, I've got the most let off possible, and you don't completely understand it until you pull one of these bows back. But as soon as you roll back into the valley of this bow, the draw cycle, the bow sits there and holds up really well. Something that I like. I don't like a bow that when I'm fully drawn, it wants to jump on me and pull me through the peep sight. I want to be able to sit back. For example, if I have an elk coming in and I have to draw early and hold my draw for a few minutes, I don't want a bow that I have to worry about keeping back. I want to be able to focus on the bull, where I'm going to hit, and actually shooting the arrow. So to me, shootability with this bow is a big thing, and that's why. Another big feature of this bow is a smooth draw cycle. This is the first thing that I noticed as I pulled the bow back. Whereas other bows, sometimes there's a hump maybe to get over the back end of the draw cycle, or right off at the beginning there's a stiffer draw cycle. This bow is very smooth all the way through. It's very consistent from start to finish, and that was another big thing for me. Simply for enjoyment of shooting, it's easy to pull this bow back 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 times a day if I'm shooting that many arrows. Another big selling point of this bow for us is that the Elite Energy bows come standard with the winner's choice strings. Anyone who's been around the industry understands the quality of a winner's choice string. In the past, it's usually the string that people put on their bows when they upgrade from their stock strings. This bow comes standard with them, so I automatically have a bow that I can head into the backcountry with a set of strings that I feel comfortable with. That's a big thing for me. One thing to note on these bows is the draw length measurement. Whereas most bows seem to measure to the burger button, these bows, they measure around an inch past the front valley of the handle. And so that's important to know, because a 30-inch draw on these Elite bows will act more like a 29-inch draw, and that's important for you when you're fitting the bows to you. That was important for me. I pull a 31-inch draw on this Elite Energy. Typically I'm a 30-inch draw with most other bows. So not a downside, just something to be aware of. One thing that we think could be improved on this bow, because let's be honest, how can you give an honest gear review without bringing up something that could possibly be improved on? But one thing on this bow is the weight. The Energy 35 series comes in at 4.5 pounds, and the Energy 32 comes in at 4.3 pounds. These are not the lightest bows on the market. What I do to mitigate that is I shoot a lighter stabilizer. Now, this 10-inch bee stinger might not look like a lighter stabilizer, but compared to the Pro Hunter model that I used to shoot with the puck on the end, this comes in substantially lighter with my overall setup. So the weight really becomes a non-issue, but just be aware you're not buying the lightest bow on the market, and it can still work for you. To hunt the backcountry, you need gear that you know will work. I'm confident that this Elite Energy is going to do the job for me in the backcountry this year. But don't take my word for it. I would recommend getting into a pro shop and fling a few arrows through one. I think you'll be surprised with how forgiving the specs are. I think you'll enjoy the draw cycle, and you'll also like the shootability of this bow. My name's Dustin. This is Team Backcountry, and this is how we hunt the backcountry.